Really good over from the debutant at 17 gone. Scotland 75 for 7.
Just one run coming from the over. Not quite the dream start with the wicket she would have wanted, but she'll be delighted to be up and running, and no doubt we'll see her now bowl the 19th over as well, which is great. What does it bring to a club? What does it add to a club to generate a healthy, thriving women's section? It's just beneficial for every aspect of the sport.
Yeah, well, it's 51% of the population, so there should be sport there for them. It's just healthy to have the girls and boys playing together when they're younger. It helps them socially. But it also means the whole family can go down. That one's lifted over mid-off. Beautifully played. That's a 6 for Megan McCall. We said she was hitting them well in the nets yesterday, and she's brought that form out into the middle today.
Great shot, the perfect straight bat. Just a bit slower through the air this time from Cara Murray. You can see a real loop, and that's being punished down the ground powerfully by Megan McCall. Just giving Scotland some late hope. 100 might be on the cards now.
Pulls that one flatter, top edge again. She's managed to miss the fielder as well today, Megan McCall. I'm not sure it's out of thought, it's more a bit of luck, but maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure you can place a leading edge or a top edge.
Gets through for the single safely though. Samantha Hago trying to support her partner.
Yeah, you can see straight away as she hits it, she's running, she knows her role. She's just going to get down the other end and get McCall back on strike. There's a lovely swing of the bat there when she got that 6.
I haven't seen a huge number of 6s this week, but that shot from, I think it was Catherine Bryce, was probably the shot of the innings, the one over long off. Followed up by 6 from McCall. Really good straight bat, elevating it down the ground. Long off has gone back now because of that shot. Long on in as well.
Slow again. And McCall hitting that one flatter down to long on. So good batting from her. She recognised she probably wouldn't get it over the head of Rebecca Stokell down there. It's good clever batting from these two. They didn't give up hope when there was that disaster of an over where they lost 3 wickets for none. There's that change up straight away off the mark. That's good running. Straight to the fielder, but because they both set off straight away, they got home safe.
2 overs remain after this 18th over. I'm certainly a little surprised not to see Leah Paul bowl her 4th over. I wonder will she bowl the final over the innings. We'll have to wait and see at that. We'll take a look at the bowling figures after this.
Well bowled from the leg spinner. Good finish to the 18th. Scotland had a good over though. They got 10 from that one. 2 overs left. That's the bowling card so far. 7 bowlers used. Laura Delaney yet to bowl herself. Georgina Dempsey is coming back for her 2nd. She'll bowl the penultimate over, and then it's all about who's going to get their 4th or their last over. Just Cara Murray bowling out so far.
Isabel used to bowl left arm medium, but then you switched to left arm spin at some stage of your career. If you'd bowled 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 12 as a left arm spinner, and you weren't given your 4th, what would you be doing to your captain?
Well, I was always captain when I bowled that spin, so I would have been taking the 4th over definitely. Yeah, that's a measure of the girls. They're all just in it for the team. There's no real. That's a good start to the over. Better length from Dempsey. That's more what you'd be used to seeing from her, hitting the top of the bat.
Almost too many options perhaps for Laura Delaney. As you said, she hasn't even bowled herself yet. 7 bowlers used.
Plenty of all-rounders. That's a thing in women's cricket, because in your club you generally have the same 5 players, unfortunately, batting and bowling. That's something that comes from playing a lot of 2020 cricket, so you can get a lot of players not doing too much. And good pace from Georgina Dempsey. She's just managing to find the right length, tucking up Samantha Hago.
Really impressive start for Georgina Dempsey on her T20 international debut, and what a bowling action she has. Shades of some of the slingier bowlers. I'm thinking of Sean Tate. I'm thinking of the South African speedster, women's speeder Islam, isn't it? I'm going to get the name correct. I'll check.
It's not Islam. I'm drawing a blank. I'll think of it now.
I think it's
Shabnam Ismail.
Ismail, not Islam. But similar, that kind of load up and then sort of slightly round arm, slingy.
Yeah. There's one player she's very like, is the Taylor Fleming from Australia. Really fast bowler. She's probably the quickest around at the moment. had a stress fracture during the latest women's Big Bash, but if you want to be a fast bowler, she's someone that you wouldn't mind looking like.
You often see that with the slinger actions, problems with the back. Dempsey's had her problems there, but a lovely action.
Beautifully played straight down the ground, and a misfield from Rachel Delaney means that'll be the first boundary of Georgina Dempsey's bowling. Really nice shot from Megan McCall. She's been hitting them so well since coming out.
Yeah, crucial knock, just not in the context of today's fourth T20I, but in the context of the series. It's giving Scotland, the Wildcats, some hope. We haven't seen much of that this week at all. Out and out misfield. Saw one from Murray earlier in the innings. Now a similar slip this time from Delaney. The high standards that Joyce sets, that's not what he'll want.
Good comeback from Dempsey. She just gets it to bounce that bit more, doesn't she? Hitting the top of the stumps, that's where you want it. So when aired a little bit full the previous delivery, that was why it was able to be hit so powerfully down the ground, and she corrects that straight away.
Quickly, Isabel, you're the captain. Who's going to bowl the final over?
Orla Prendergast.
Not Leopold?
No. I think it's just because that's what they would have decided before the game more than anything. Great stop from Georgina Dempsey. That was a 4 for sure had she missed it. So saves 3 runs. That's the final ball of her over.
But the important thing for Scotland, Megan McCall is going to keep the strike, so just half a stop, and lovely to see Leopold run all the way over there to Georgina Dempsey. Give a big hug round the shoulders, congratulate her on her debut. Really good start. The future is bright for this young Irish side. There's no doubt about that. You'll hear a lot more, I suspect, in the future from Georgina Dempsey. Absolutely.
There's a raft of young players coming through. Great to see. And you know, we have another 5 players that aren't here. The likes of Sophie McMahon, who couldn't get off work. Players in and Broad, no doubt watching. I'm sure I've got a message on my phone from Emma Richardson wondering about something to do with someone's action. She's so into her technical stuff. I do enjoy those messages, Richo, so hopefully I'll see that when we take a break. But it is Orla Prendergast who will close out the bowling innings for Ireland, and Megan McCall will be eyeing up that 100. What a boon that would be. It's just a bit of a positive going into the bowling innings when you get the 3 figures.
Yeah, Scotland will be eyeing up the 3 figures, getting up to 100, and they'll also believe that they'll have a reasonably strong chance of defending that. Remember, running out comfortable winners, having posted only, I think it was 87 in game 1 of the series. So Ireland are going to need to get the monkey off the back in terms of being able to chase down a total if they're going to go ahead and win this series 3-1. Orla Prendergast to finish.
Inside edge, the fielder down at fine leg is quite square. It's Rachel Delaney, manages to pull off a great stop this time, keeps it to 2. She wanted to put right the wrongs of the last over. That's well fielded.
Yeah, that is brilliant fielding. Made really good ground, 15 to 20 yards across to her right. I think as soon as it came off the bat, I thought it was 4. Outfield is fast, but look at how much ground she makes up. A full length dive and just inches inside the rope. That's brilliant work from Rachel Delaney. Gave away 4 in the previous over, but saves 2 runs for certain there. The extra pace of Prendergast is going to give Megan McCall opportunities to score, though.
Goes over, extra cover. That's beautifully played. She doesn't have to generate the pace, remember. Orla Prendergast gives her that. That one's just trickled over the rope for a boundary.
What a gem of a knock this is. It's giving Scotland a real chance in this match. Looking not just north of 100 now, but looking to add further late runs up to 97. 4 deliveries remain. That's a really good shot. I think Prendergast probably looking for the block hole, but it ends up becoming a half volley. Just a little bit of space given from McCall and smashed over the offside.
That time gets a better length. Yeah, so 6 from the first 3 deliveries of this last over. If they get another 6, I think they'll be happy, considering that at the halfway mark they were 44 for 5.
Yeah, it's been a good effort after that collapse that was sparked by the left arm spin of Leopold. Been a good effort to fight their way up to what looks like it'll be north of 100, get up to 3 figures, 3 deliveries remaining.
Again, misses the block hole, but McCall only manages to get it down to long on. So Samantha Hago has 2 deliveries to see if she can score a few boundaries.
It's absolute hit and run here for Sam Hago. She's got to either try and find the rope somehow or get McCall back onto strike for the final delivery. McCall moving into the 30s. Been a real gem of a knock. Changing the field. Mid on, up into the circle. Third man goes back.
And she doesn't manage to get the bat on it, so it will be Samantha Hago to close out the innings. Kind of a half shot. Didn't know. I think there was some mixed up thinking there. Do you try and get the single? Do you try and score the 4? She kind of did neither.
I think you've got to run one to the keeper there as well. If you're Megan McCall, you've got to just put the head down and take on Shauna Kavanagh. She'd have had to underarm it at the stumps, but the end result is going to be a dot ball and keeping Hago on strike, which isn't what Scotland would have wanted at this stage. Can she find a big stroke to finish the innings?
It's not a big stroke, but it is a stroke. They'll look to come back for 2, Leah Putt, and they decided against it. Scotland on the boundary, not too happy. Ireland will be happy to have managed to keep that under the 100. Psychological barrier for them would have been if it had gone over 100, so they keep Scotland 99 for 7.
I think every member of that Scotland tent was screaming for the 2 of them, McCall and Hago, to run back for a second. Remember, if you can get back for the second, it's really a free chance to run, because if you run out, 99 for 8 makes no difference to 99 for 7. But they decided against it, so they're going to both finish not out. A really good knock, a good partnership, in fact, between Hago and McCall. And I think, although Scotland's certainly a little under par, they will feel if they can bowl and field really, really well, they could be in this game. Remember, if they win today, they'll square the series. The Celtic International T20 Challenge Series, they would square it at 2-2. If Ireland can chase down what's going to be the perfectly round 100 to win the series, they'll need 5 runs and over. They'll win the series, the home side 3-1. That's the batting card there. McCall, the top scorer, 30 off 29. A great knock, Isabel.
Yeah, she was excellent. Came in a really, really tough situation. Would have been understandable had she crumbled, but showed some real mental strength, managing to bat out the rest of the innings with Samantha Hago. She obviously had a couple of she batted with Abby Aitken-Drummond as well. What I think could work in their favour, Andrew, is the fact that a couple of chances have actually gone down for them in the previous 2 games. They were excellent on day 1, took every single chance, but the next 2 games they actually put down some chances. If they take those today, then they could square this series.
That's the bowling figures, and Orla Prendergast remarkably bowling 2 maidens in her 4-over spell, 1 for 16. But the star of the show and the Spinners Union all the way around the world is going to be screaming and shouting, why did Leah Paul not get to bowl her 4th over? 3 wickets and an over. Remarkable stuff from the Marion all-rounder. 3 for 12 for her, the star of the show with the ball. Good debut for Georgina Dempsey. And some good signs from Laura Moritz and Rachel Delaney and Ava Canning at points as well.
Yeah, the only bowler who went for any meaningful runs was Cara Murray. I thought she bowled well, but perhaps wouldn't have been the bowler that you would have expected to bowl 4 along with Orla Prendergast. Leah Paul unlucky not to get her 4 overs. But for the moment, we'll take a break. We'll be back with you shortly in 10 minutes for the second innings of the Celtic International T20 Challenge Series. It's match 4. Ireland leads 2-1, and they'll have to chase 100 to take the series. But for now, goodbye. And a warm welcome back to Stormont in Northern Ireland for the second innings of match 4 of the Celtic International T20 Challenge Series between Ireland and Scotland. Scotland posted a target of 100. They made 99 runs, so Ireland will need to score 100 runs to chase down and take the series 3-1. I'm Isabel Joyce. I'm joined in the commentary box by Andrew Blair-White, and it's looking like it's going to be a great finish, Andrew.
Yeah, it should be, and that partnership of 42 from Megan McCall and Samantha Hago was invaluable for this run chase to be what it is now, and it's going to just test these Irish girls. Obviously they've batted so well the last 2 days to score both totals in the 130s, but they didn't chase 87, and chasing runs in terms of in the difference to setting a target is so much different, even from a mentality point of view.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's almost a different skill chasing down a target, one that this Irish team will want to do successfully today. They historically, before the lockdown, didn't do too well chasing low totals. They've stumbled again on Monday, so something that they'll want to put right today, and a real prize, a first series win in the first competition back for them. It's Rebecca Stokel who will face up first. Gabby Lewis is at the other end, and Katie McGill will take the first over from the City end. It's a good start from McGill. The bowlers have been really good all week from both Scotland and Ireland. All the bowlers pretty much starting on the money, not too many nervous wides or looseners from any of the bowlers.
Yeah, it has been excellent, but this is a change in plan for Scotland, not opening with that over of off spin.
No ball called by umpire Jarlath McCready. That's not the start that Scotland will have wanted. And if there's one person in your team other than Gabby Lewis that you want to face a free hit, it is Rebecca Stokel. No change allowed in the field because it's the same batter facing. Katie McGill having overstepped means there's a free hit, and I think that we'll see Rebecca Stokel eye up, long off or long on, both those fielders up in the ring. She whacks that between extra cover and mid-off, goes along the ground. Beautiful shot from Rebecca Stokel. That gets her off the mark. First boundary for Ireland, and a welcome boundary in the first over.
Yeah, and that can sometimes go to just break the shackles a little bit. Rebecca Stokel getting that free hit. It's an excellent shot, just using her feet and piercing the gap between extra cover and mid-off. And I think this first 5-6 overs is imperative for Ireland. If they start well, they should be able to chase this down, no problem.
Pushed into the offside this time, picks out the fielder. A better length from McGill. Perhaps looking to push that into the offside where the fielder's out on the boundary. The other fielder that's out on the boundary is deep mid-wicket. It's a bit of a strange one, that. You usually get both fielders in the same side of the ground unless it's third man and fine leg that are back. A shorter, big reach from Stokel. She signals down to Gabby Lewis. She thinks that the fingers were rolled over the ball there.
Yeah, it's good to see that Stokel taking the aggressive option, though. We saw when they were trying to chase 88 on Monday after the 6-over power play, they were only 13 for 2, which was just not good enough, and not enough runs on the board. And these two will certainly go about trying to score these runs quickly.
Down the leg side, signalled wide, and Gabby Lewis trots through. She wants some of the strike. She's looked good this week, but she'll want to go on and cross the 50 mark today. She perished on 47 and Gaydon too. This puts a lot of pressure on herself to be the match winner, Lewis.
It's a great opportunity for somebody in this Irish top order to go and score at 40 or 50 not out today. Be the hero.
Worked into the leg side. That's a beautiful shot from Lewis. She is so good to watch, isn't she? She did get out in the first day looking to go leg side, but something I know she's been working on in the winter is getting those singles into the leg side. So I'm sure the coach was telling her, look, you just missed one. You can still keep playing the shot. You've practiced it enough. Aerial from Stokel. It's a chance. Captain Catherine Bryce comes under it. She won't make any mistake. That's the first wicket for Scotland. That's one gone in the first over. And that's huge for Scotland. They need to take all 10 wickets if they're going to win the game today.
Yeah, good wicket this for Scotland to get Rebecca Stokel out. She can take a game away from you quickly. She's going for that favourite shot over the top. Doesn't get any of it though. And Catherine Bryce has been absolutely superb in the field all week. And she's not going to drop something like that. And another wicket for Katie McGill. She has a bit of the Leah Paul magic touch for Scotland, the golden arm. And she takes another wicket.
Yeah, no surprise to see her taking the first over. Good captaincy from Catherine Bryce, opting to go with the person who's probably in her team looked the best for the week, all-round player. Disappointment for Ireland to lose that first wicket. They are on 8 after 1 and they did cross, so Laura Delaney will face up in the first over from Catherine Bryce, who also changes ends today. The wind's just slightly changing, so a lot of the bowlers bowling from opposite ends to where they bowled the first 3 days. Spoke to Laura Delaney at the toss, or just before the toss, and she said, "Can you just give me some runs?" I told her she just has to keep going. She's looked really good this season up until this series. Has struggled a little bit, but you can't keep her down for long. Straight on the money from Catherine Bryce. Has she impressed you with the ball so far this series, Andrew?
Yeah, she has done. She's bowled very tight lines, especially with her sister Sarah up to the stumps. That sort of pace can be difficult to get away. Very tight.
Yeah, she bowls a good length, doesn't she? Hits the top of the bat, so unless she errs in length, it's very difficult to score runs off her.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's one of those things where you're looking at this field here. I think it's a well-set field. Difficult to see where runs are coming from.
Gabby Lewis calls her through. There is a single there, but Delaney just stuck in the crease for a minute there. Good to see that Lewis stuck to her guns, though. He could have seen another run out like we saw in the first innings. There is a gap in third man, which I think is a good option from Catherine Bryce. She's saying, if you want to take me on down there, go ahead. She does get the ball to move a huge amount into the stump, so it's a risky option. 4 or 5 offside field. The 2 boundary fielders are square leg and deep mid wicket. Driven strongly from Lewis. What a classy shot that is. She takes a big step. What great hands. Hits that through the covers, and that's another 4 for Lewis.
Yeah, excellent shot from Gabby Lewis. This Catherine Bryce potentially a little bit too full this time, maybe searching for that golden delivery, and it's a bit of width, and Gabby Lewis needs no second invitation to have a go at that. And nobody back on the offside, so once you beat the infield, it's always going to be 4.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see this field set, to be honest, from Catherine Bryce. She's nearly setting a field for a bad ball, having square leg and deep mid wicket out. She's bowled so well, she doesn't really need that protection. I think she'd probably be better off having another one over on the offside. Short this time and work to leg side. I'd like to see her backing her ability and having more protection on the side where she tends to bowl.
Yeah, well, I think the deep square leg's a fair enough call. I'm just not sure the deep mid wicket is for a drag down delivery, which she hasn't bowled almost any of so far this week.
A strong call from Delaney. Opted not to take the single that time. So second over gone. Ireland 14 for 1. Just to finish out on that field placement, I think it's there for the pickup shot when she bowls too full. But, she rarely does that. So I think she'd be better off packing the offside field than, those strong drives through the offside that Lewis and Delaney can play might be cut off.
And you could even play a nice little in-out field on the offside. If you did have that cover sweeper, your point and extra cover can then be in a bit tighter, making sure that single can't be got.
Katie McGill ball's short. It's pulled away by Lewis. Puts it straight of deep mid wicket, but the ball plugs. She didn't get all of it, but Delaney was in and out quickly, so turns it into a 2.
Yeah, we can just see Gabby Lewis's intent here, pulling this one away over mid-wicket for 2. And she's looking to get on with things, already on to 8 from just 4 deliveries, and trying to get Ireland that big momentum in this run chase, which they've been lacking when chasing before.
A bit of a change up from Katie McGill there. Gabby Lewis just sending the message down to her partner that that's in McGill's armoury. Yeah, it's one of those, there's a few different ways of chasing, isn't there? And Lewis's preferred tactic, and a good one, is to just break the back of it in the power play. And, you know, Scotland heads go down. If they can get in the 30s or 40 in the first 6 and beats the outside edge. It's good bowling from McGill. She's not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, it is good from McGill. As you say there, if you entered the 6-over power play, even scoring a run of ball and getting up to that 36 means that everyone coming in later is only needing to go at that 4 and over rate, which is very manageable in 2020 cricket. So, you know, I think it is the right option to take it on.
Nicely played down the ground. They don't take on the fielder, as we've seen quite often this week. Mid off, mid on. Perhaps didn't hit it well enough. The fielder allowed to attack it.
To be fair, I don't think Gabby plays any other way than just taking it on.
I think she's learning it at the moment in the 50-over competition, the Arca Super 50 series. There's that slower ball again. Misfield from Catherine Bryce. It does go straight to Catherine Fraser, a chance, but doesn't hit the stumps. They say don't run off a misfield, and it was almost made true. Gabby Lewis saying don't run that one again.
Yeah, almost one of those where Bryce palmed it to mid-off inadvertently, but it's quite close. If that hit, Gabby Lewis could have been on her way back, and that would have been a terrible way to go.
Bottom edge from Delaney, sent back by Lewis. So good over from McGill. She's bowled well so far. She's bowled 2 overs. Ireland 17 for 1. Just the 3 from it. So if you're the Scotland captain, are you going to keep people on for spells, chop and change? Which would be your preferred kind of method?
Well, my preferred method is always to try and keep your good bowlers on when they're bowling well and try to take wickets. I think unfortunately, if you let Gabby Lewis get into her work here, this game could be away from you before you even think it. So it's no surprise to see Bryce continue on here.
Yeah, well bowled. Good length. Even the long limbs of Gabby Lewis can't drive that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see when they bring on Abda Maqsood into the attack. She's looked dangerous all week with her leg breaks. Looked a bit of a strike bowler, so I'll be interested to see when Bryce turns to her.
Swept by Lewis, straight to the fielder though. Bit of luck for Bryce. They're going to need a little bit of luck, you'd think. Scotland, they'll need to hold all their chances and have a little bit of luck to keep Ireland under that 100 mark. It is less than a run a ball. Worked leg side this time in front of that fielder at 45. Lewis turns and looks for a second, but that's good fielding in the deep. Samantha Hago, who's done that job. Looks to be moving all right, despite the 4 stitches in her shin.
Yes, exactly, and she played a canny knock with the bat as well. A very important knock as a good foil to Megan McCall, who I was extremely impressed with. Showed good power hitting. We were talking about her batting with power in the nets. She's taken that onto the field. Short
cut away from Delaney. That's a classic Delaney cut shot for 4. Races over the rope.
She's had slightly indifferent fortune with that cut shot this week, Laura Delaney, but it is one of her best, and that is an excellent showing of Laura Delaney at her best. Bit of width from Catherine Bryce on offer there. Wonderfully timed and away for 4.
And not a lot of foot movement, but she did just lean onto her back foot, put her head right over the ball. Worked leg side from Delaney. I think our call for deep mid-wicket to come across the offside is still a good one. She's yet to be involved in the game, and they could do with a bit more protection on the offside.
Yeah, especially considering she seems to be bowling that kind of 5th, 6th stump line really overall, with even a little bit of width on offer. You'd have thought it was more of a wise call.
Slower ball swept by Lewis Shout, but Riley Black moving off to the side, doesn't look too interested. Good change up from Catherine Bryce to close out the 4th. 6 from it for Ireland. It's 23 for 1. I've seen a couple of bowlers warming up, and one of them is that leg spinner Abtaha Maksud, so I think she'll be coming on soon. The other one is Megan McCall. I think she could be bowling this over from the City end. She bowled well yesterday as well. First bowl that she had was yesterday. Took 2 wickets, had one expensive over. That meant that she didn't get kept on. But batted well today. And sometimes when one half of your game is going well, the other half goes well as well.
Yeah, exactly. I thought she was very good with the ball in hand. Another one of these skiddy medium pacers. Keep her up to the stumps. Got a bit of joy yesterday. And as you say, usually when you bat well, you've a bit of spring in your step.
Worked leg side again from Delaney. Good singles. They're doing it easy at the moment, Ireland. There are singles all around the ground. I wonder if Catherine Bryce might consider bringing the field in, only having one out or perhaps no one out, to see if she can buy a wicket with a risk from an Ireland batter. But at the moment, they're finding it a little bit too easy. Short and pulled away well from Lewis. She's found the gap in the vacant square leg area. Beautifully played. That's 4 more.
Another lovely shot from Gabby Lewis McCall, just a little bit short this time round. Nobody out at that deep square leg either. Let's see from the replay, it's a good shot from Gabby Lewis though, picking up length very quickly, pulling that one away for a boundary. And I think Scotland are just struggling to build pressure. That bowling's been a little bit two sides to the wicket, and not sure really what the plan is here. Deep mid-wicket and long off being the 2 fielders back.
Outside the off stump that time, Catherine Bryce comes around a little bit untidy. Doesn't manage to pick that up clean, so Lewis gets a single. Always good to get a boundary and then a single. You know, the field does confuse me a little bit. It's almost a case of putting the fielders where you think the batters are strong rather than where you're going to bowl the ball, which is always a mistake. Yeah, you must put the field where you're intending to bowl it. Cut again from Delaney. They do have cover out for her. It's nearly setting a field from a place of fear rather than confidence.
Yeah, but there's been a lack of consistency just in this first 4.5 overs from the Scottish bowlers, though. It's been a bit short at times, then a bit overly full. You could really do with a bit of consistency to the bowling, and then you can probably set fields accordingly.
Nicely played from Lewis. Gets that through the field, opts for the placement rather than the power. And what an option that is. Another boundary to the YM batter.
Yeah, excellent again from Gabby Lewis. This time just leaning into this. Didn't hit it overly hard, but the timing was there. Wasn't a bad ball by any means from Megan McCall, but finding that gap between point and cover. She moves on to 19 already and doing a brilliant job for her side here.
Short again, this time does find the fielder. Looking really good for her. 19 so far, Gabby Lewis. That's the end of the 5th, and Ireland move on to 34 for 1. Do you think perhaps the fact that Scotland know they really have to take all 10 wickets is playing on the minds of the bowlers a little bit, searching for wickets a little bit too much?
Yeah, a little bit, I suspect. Trying to bowl that magic delivery, sometimes you can fall into the trap there and you can end up then straying onto the leg side, potentially trying to bowl that, especially for the likes of a